Hi, welcome to Logic. I will be your professor, Tim McKenzie. I'm going to just kind of walk you through the course here. Logic can be kind of a tough course. I think a lot of people, I think as far as philosophy goes, it's very different than what most people think of when they think of philosophy. If this is your only philosophy course, don't think that this is what most of them are like. This is kind of a lot of ways different. Philosophy is about reasoning and arguing for positions, having different ideas. Philosophy is a study of that which undergirds our world. That basically takes the basic assumptions we have and tries to figure out why they are that way, why we accept reality as the way it is. It argues about ethics and other things. It's kind of just it's a bit of a lot of philosophers try to argue a lot. They try to argue for different positions. And logic is the study of arguments. And so it makes sense that logic is part of philosophy because logic as the study of the study of arguments, or the science of right reasoning, is kind of a tool that philosophers use in order to make sure that the arguments they make sense. This is all about how you reason and argue. But it gets very technical very quickly. We get into, let's take arguments apart, let's symbolize them so that we can figure out why things are sometimes make sense and sometimes they don't. And so it becomes, in some ways, can become very mathematical in some ways, can become very tedious in other ways. And sometimes people get kind of annoyed at that. They don't like that. Now, I would encourage you not to do that. Just kind of work your way through. Logic is a course that you really need to just spend a little bit of time every single day or a couple of times a week working on it. If you try to sit down and do 6 hours one day, I got to get through this kind of thing, you will not do well. You really just need to sit down and do a little bit each day, just kind of work through a few problems, read a few chapters, that kind of thing. Don't try to power through it. It won't work that way. You might be able to do that in other courses. You might be able to do that in other philosophy courses, but logic just doesn't work that way. It can become very tedious. Now, with that said, when you get to the end of the course, hopefully you'll kind of realize, like, yeah, I never really thought about language in that way. I never really thought about reasoning in that way. And hopefully you can kind of pull it together and see the bigger picture that what we're doing and why we're doing it that way. Logic is usually the basis for people who take, a lot of people take logic as a tool for studying for the LSAT, which is the law school admission test. People who want to go to law school do it because the LSAT is largely a logic test, because lawyers largely, that's what they do, is they argue. They take apart language and pick it apart, and that's what we're doing to a certain degree. So I just want to give you kind of a little bit of an awareness, but what I would suggest plan to just do a little bit of work every day. This is a 3 credit hour class. And so typically you would spend 3 hours in the classroom, but typically I would tell you, read this chapter before class, and you would spend 20, 30 minutes before each class. If we met 3 times a week, or if we met once a week, you might spend an hour or 2 reading. And then I might assign you some homework, and I'd give you some exams, and I'd give you some other assignments. And you spend another couple hours, maybe 3, 4 hours. And so for every hour inside class, there's kind of this idea that you'll spend 2 hours outside of class. And so for this class, you would kind of expect 1 hour in, 2 hours out. That's about 3 hours for every credit hour. And it's 3 credit hours, that's 9 hours of work, right? Now, this is all outside of a classroom to a certain degree. So to a large degree, you could be doing 9 hours. Now, do I think you'll do 9 hours every week? No. Do I think you'll do 5 or 6? Yes, I absolutely think you'll need 5 or 6 hours to do this class every week. And so you should plan on, I think as a minimum, I think some weeks you'll do 10 hours. I think other weeks you might do 5 or 6, and I think it'll average out to more than 6 hours a week. But if you try to do it all in one sitting, or you don't put in that time, you will not do well. So I kind of want to encourage you to set aside the time and do that. Now, a couple quick things before I start my quick tour of this class. First of all, actually, I'll just set the tour as a separate video. The other thing I want to note is this course is just a couple things I want to kind of ask you to keep an eye out for. Is this course is being taught in Canvas. We have just recently, the college is in the process of switching. If I haven't replaced this video, we have made the switch in fall 2021 that we are moving over to this new learning system called Canvas. As a result, a lot of the way the course was set up has had to change. So I may have a video that shows something in Blackboard. I might reference Blackboard. If I do that, send me an email and let me know, because I need to find those things and root it out. We don't change learning management systems, but every like 15 or 20 years. I mean, it's a rare thing to do, and we're right in the middle of that. And so, you know, you get a lot of embedded videos and things, or, you know, ways of doing things that may be a little bit weird. So let me know. If you see other errors like dates or things just are a little wonky, let me know. Don't be afraid to let me know. Those are things that, you know, largely are probably technical things with the switch. With that said, part of the reason why I ask you to do it is because I don't always catch all these. There might be a few things. There might be some videos that are wrong. They might reference things incorrectly. I think I've got all that cleaned up, but I might not. If you find an error and you let me know, every time you find an error, I will give you an extra credit point or two as a way of saying thank you for letting me know. It's really easy to have dates and other things out of line in that regard. So I just kind of want to make note of that. The other thing is, and I talk about this later, but if you know, my job is to help you. I am trying to add in some videos that kind of give just general overview of the material. I did that in Module 4. I think Module 1, there's already a lesson there. Module 2, probably don't really need it. Module 3, I think I do. I'm going to start adding some of those videos. Hopefully by the time we get to it, those will all be up. If they are not, that's just, you know, and you have a problem, you're confused, send me an email. Send me an email and say, hey, Professor McKenzie, I'm not understanding this. We can jump on a Zoom and we can go through some of the stuff together. That's what I'm here for. It's kind of like office hours, but a lot of times, you know, if you are struggling, if a couple people call me and say, hey, I need to do a Zoom, then I realize I need more explanation on a point. But it also is a very easy way, very quick way for me to go through some problems. Don't be afraid to do that. Just reach out to me and I'm more than happy to do that. You know, I mean, usually, you know, I mean, some people will, you know, meet with me for a half hour every week, and some people will meet with me maybe once, and most people won't meet with me at all. Usually if you know, a lot of people are meeting with me, I realize there's some stuff I need to change in how it's presented so that, you know, there's not the mass confusion. But don't be afraid if you're a little confused or just want a little extra help. That's perfectly fine. I'll just jump on Zoom or whatever, and we'll get that done. All right. I don't think I have anything else. I'm going to do a tour, but I'm going to do that in a separate video just to keep it a little bit shorter.